Hello, I'm EG and this is Crocheting with EG. And in this video I got some yarn at Goodwill. They had two of those comforter bag looking things full of yarn, and so I got some of those. And then I got some yarn from Michael's. It was on clearance, and it's going to make me look even more ridiculous because I'm going to be complaining about the fact that I got clearance yarn at Michael's, but it feels like this should not be clearanced out. I mean, yeah, it's going to make room for better yarns and stuff, but it's pissing me off that they're clearancing out this yarn when they have a very small selection in my store, which I've complained about in other videos. But at least I got a couple skeins of clearance yarn, but still I shouldn't have been able to get these on clearance, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna look ridiculous. I'm complaining about clearance yarn. My ass, how much clearance yarn I get from Hobby Lobby. But and again, like my last video, like I didn't expect to get any yarn. I never do, but then I always do. I'll find it anywhere. If I can go into an antique store and come across yarn, then I'm gonna end up getting it. But it's weird that I got some yarn because I wasn't expecting to get any, and because it's not near the shipment day at Hobby Lobby, and so like my last video, I finished my mom's blanket, and so I had this really big make to show, and then I made the bow to wrap around it, and I made that flower for my mom, and so there was that. And then I was gonna show this because I did make a scarf, and so I do have a make in this video. But I thought it's a couple days away from the shipment day at Hobby Lobby, so it's not like I'm gonna have a whole bunch of yarn to show again. And then I walk into Goodwill, and then there's these two bags. And like if I see this yarn, I'm gonna get it. I know I don't need the yarn, but I want the yarn. And so that's the moral of the story. If you're in my Goodwill and you're like looking around for stuff, and you see some yarn and you think I'm gonna think on that, I'll walk around a little bit and then I'll decide. And you see my ass walking, you better haul your ass over there and get that yarn, because if I see it before you do, I'll get it. Not because I need it, because I want it. Because like I've said in previous videos, nobody really needs yarn, and so if you want it, just get it and enjoy it. And that's what I do. Like I have more yarn than I know what to do with. I probably have enough to last me for the rest of my life, but I don't care. It's so much fun, the hunt for it and getting it and stuff. And like I've said, if you have some kind of issue with like if you're going into financial debt or whatever, just to buy a bunch of yarn, and it's causing like a financial situation, then maybe you shouldn't buy the yarn. Or if you're if it's some kind of clinical hoarding thing, and you're talking to people on like standing on top of big bags of yarn, like an episode of Hoarders, then maybe that you shouldn't buy the yarn. But like if you can walk through your house on the actual floor, and it's not becoming like a physical issue, and it's not if it's not becoming an issue like my freaking speech issues are, then if it's not becoming a physical issue, then and it's not becoming a financial issue, then just buy the yarn and enjoy it. Because like I'm still seeing videos of people saying, oh, guess what, I broke my yarn buying ban and bought this yarn, and I probably shouldn't have. Just enjoy it, because that the people that buy the yarn and stuff, when we buy yarn, I don't know, I'm like generalizing, I should include myself because I'm the one that buys all this yarn. When we buy yarn, it's just exciting as hell, and we enjoy it. And so I just don't want people to feel like if they get on camera, then they have to feel like, oh, I'm sorry, almost apologizing for something that we all enjoy. We all enjoy buying yarn and stuff. It's a wonderful, fun hobby and everything. And no, I'm just making excuses because I'm about to show all this yarn. No, I would never apologize for buying this yarn because I enjoy it so much. But anyway, I'll show the make first. I actually do use the yarn, and then I like replenish it like that, like tenfold, because I think, oh, I used a couple skeins to make this scarf, and it's like, oh, but I have like 30 skeins here. I don't know how many skeins it is. I didn't count it or anything, but here's this scarf that I made. But the blanket that I made for my mom, the throw blanket that I made with that yarn bee True Colors, it turned out so nice, and I love how my stitch looks in that yarn, and it's just nice and shiny and soft, and it's a really great yarn. And so what I said was, when I made my mom's throw blanket, I didn't realize that the yarn doesn't stretch as much as I thought it would, and so I had all this yarn set aside for, like, in my head, like a throw blanket that was like fall related, because I have some oranges, and then I had some yellow, and then this it kind of reminds me of like honey bees, or it kind of, I don't know why it reminds me of bees, but it's like a variegated skein. The variegated that's in this scarf doesn't exist anymore. It's one that I had gotten at the big markdown. I think it was last year. and so it doesn't exist anymore. The yellow probably does, but I had those skeins set aside, and then when I started to make my mom's throw blanket, I realized that I would need to pull from those existing skeins that I sort of had set aside in my head for a fall throw blanket. And I needed to take some of the gold to mix in, and I think the purple, I didn't have that set aside for the fall throw blanket, but I had some purple and I had some other ones that I needed to pull from to add to the blanket to, you know, make it like a full-size throw blanket. And so because I had to, you know, pull from those existing skeins, I thought, like, and I know that they're not going to stretch enough to make another throw blanket. I thought, like, what am I going to do with it? And so I wanted to make something else with that yarn, and I got to make this in front of my mom, because, you know, she didn't know about the blanket, and so she didn't get to see the whole process of me, like, you know, crocheting the blanket for her. And so I wanted to, you know, use some of the yarn and, like, figure out what to do with the leftover yarns that I wasn't going to use for a blanket, and then also just, like, give her, I mean, she sees me crochet all the time, but, like, just to give her an opportunity to see, like, how fast that yarn crochets up, especially in my stitch. And so I got to, like, crochet this in front of her to kind of give her a visual idea of, like, what it was like crocheting her blanket, even though she didn't get to see it until it was all done. So that's what I did. I used the yellows. It's kind of like this butter yellow. I don't know where the labels are. I can't remember the colorway name of these, but I know that the variegated doesn't exist anymore, so it doesn't really matter. Although you could buy it on eBay. Oh, God, let me just focus on one thing. God, my brain is all over the place. But I think this butter yellow, it's probably called butter. I know that the soft secret, there's like butter and biscuits, the colorways. But anyway, see, I'm already sweating. I need my Whitney Houston rag, like on my if you saw my last video, all the way at the end in the bloopers. So it's just ridiculous that I made myself a scarf. I'm gonna use this in a couple months when it gets cold again. We're still going through this. It's not really a heat wave. It's like a front that stalled out over us, and it's giving like daily chances for storms and all that kind of stuff, but it's like it trapped the humidity, and it's just like awful. But anyway, so this is the scarf, and so I used my EG stitch, and so this is how the scarf turned out. And so see, there's two rows of the yellow, and then a row of that variegated. See, it has a little bit of yellow in it, but it has some brown in it too, and a little bit of maybe like an ivory color. And so there's like, and then one row of that, and then two rows of the yellow, and then one row of the variegated. And because I think I had two skeins of the yellow and then one of the variegated. So I planned it out, because now I know exactly how many how many of my EG stitches I can crochet up with that yarn, because I you know, had to plan out my mom's throw blanket. So I figured out how many skeins, or how far this would stretch, and how many you know, how long it would be, and how many stitches I could do per row and all that. And so I planned it out. So that's what the scarf looks like. And then on the very end, I added this this fringe to make it look even more ridiculous. But so I used the variegated on the end of the rows with the yellow, and then on the end of the variegated rows I used a little bit of the yellow, and so it kind of break it up a little bit, so it's not, you know, matchy kind of thing at the end. It, you know, goes, you know, back and forth, and so that's how the scarf looks. And so I'll put it on if you want to see how it looks, because it's just so cold in here. Maybe I can use it as a sweat dabber. I think it turned out so nice, and I do love this kind of buttery yellow color, and so that's how the scarf looks. And it kind of comes down like this. So it comes down pretty far if you wrap it around your neck like this, but it's just a really nice scarf. And I know that it's going to be really warm when I need it to be, but I definitely don't need it to be warm today. But I just wanted to use a little bit of that yarn and figure out what to do with some of the extra. I still have a bunch of the orange left, and then I have the grays. Those were from the previous hauls. Some grays, and then that hot pink, and then the forest green color. Or the evergreen kind of color that I used when I was trying to figure out the stitch I was going to use for my mom's blanket. I crocheted that up with double crochet. I'll have to pull that out. But I have that green too, and then maybe a couple other colors. But I did use the light pink that was supposed to be just like an extra skein on my head for the bow that I used to wrap around my mom's blanket when I gave it to her. So I already used that one. I may have like an ivory or something in other hauls that I need to put away, but I can't remember. But anyways, I just wanted to make something with some of that yarn, so I made a really nice scarf. Because in my head I was thinking, oh, I'll have a nice make for my next video and stuff, and then I come across all this yarn. But anyway, so that's the make, and then I'll get to the yarn. So I walked in there, and they had this bag full of yarn, which is this thick. So this is a really nice bag of yarn. And then they had this one too. And so this one right here, that it almost feels like this one's heavier than that one, even though like it looks shorter, but it feels like it's more full than this one. But yeah, this one was only $10, and then this one was $15. And so a really good deal on all this yarn. So I'll go through that. But I saw these bags and I thought, going in my cart. But of course, like I didn't need this yarn, but you know, who cares? I wanted it, so I got it. I don't care. And what's great is like most of these skeins are brand new. I mean, there are a couple that you can tell that they're used, and they don't have labels anymore and all that kind of stuff. But there are a lot in here that are brand new, which is crazy. And some of them, like especially in this bag, there's some of that bamboo yarn, like they're brand new from Hobby Lobby. And there is some Hobby Lobby yarn in here, so that's funny. So I was thinking, well, I probably won't get any more Hobby Lobby yarn this week, you know, unless I get some on the shipment day in a couple days. And then I come across this, and there's like all these Hobby Lobby skeins in here. And the funny thing is, there's some makes in here too, like, you know, finished makes. This is ridiculous. I'll put it on my head just to, you know, act like an idiot. But there was some of these hats in it. It's not really a bucket hat. I don't know what it is. What was funny is when I was going through this when I got home, and I was showing my mom this hat. I said, God, it looks like something from Little House on the Prairie. You know, like Mary or Laura would be sleeping in. Like it looks like they're the sleeping hats or whatever you call it. I mean, it really does. Like, it's just like a hat, and it has all this like ruffliness around it, kind of like their the hat that they used to sleep in. And so there's this one, and there's another one in here somewhere. And this is just like a regular hat, although this feels really long. Or I guess you could like fold it up. You can tell this is made with cotton, so it doesn't have any stretch at all. So I don't even know if it'll fit on my big head. But what it reminds me of course I have a tee. Like I find this and I think, oh, Little House on the Prairie. I find this and I think, oh, I Love Lucy. Because when I put it on, it comes down so far, and it kind of reminds me of that. See how big my freaking head is. Or this is probably made for like a woman for one thing, and then of course it kind of fits my head. But the way it kind of fits in my head is like that hat that Lucy had when I think it was the saxophone episode where she was going through that stuff in the attic of the building, and she came across her hat. And she kind of looked like this, or whatever, like, you know, talking about the 30s or whatever it was. But it kind of looks like one of those hats. But it was a bad idea for whoever made this to make this with cotton, because it has no stretch at all. Of course, I guess it wouldn't really matter if you didn't have a giant head like I have, but it just doesn't fit my head at all. And then there's this one, which it doesn't fit my head either. God, I'm sure that this looks, I'm just going to assume that this looks good on whoever this was made for, you know, with their head the right size, and it just looks ridiculous on me. I mean, I don't want to, you know, insult the work of whoever made this and say this looks ridiculous. Maybe it just looks ridiculous on me because I'm an idiot with this hat on my head, trying to cram it down on my head. But I don't know. But it's like a hat, and it has all this fur on the brim of it. But that was in there too. This is Mary's, and now this is Laura's. Or maybe Laura would, they would give this one to Laura because this has the fur on it. And it would be like extra warm because she's younger. Although this would match Mary's fur thing that she got on the Christmas episode. Whatever. TV references got. Anyway, let me just get to the freaking yarn. And so there's this skein. It's from Mainstays. It's the Walmart brand. And then it's the color. Oh God, it took 20 seconds to find the colorway name. And guess what it is? Green. For God's sake, it's like kind of like a lime green. And so there's this one. It feels like a little bit's gone from this. It's a little floppy or whatever. Maybe it's just extra soft. So that was in there. And then there's a couple of skeins of these Lion brand homespun, and it's this kind of wavy yarn. And I used to be such a yarn snob. I'm getting so much yarn that I'm starting to expand the kinds of yarns that I like in my head. But I used to think, oh, I don't like wavy yarn. I don't like furry yarns. I don't like, even though I had never even used them before. I just sort of assumed that like working with hairy yarns or furry yarns or yarns like this that are kind of wavy, or I thought it would be kind of, it's a little bit more difficult. But I just thought, oh, I wouldn't be into that. I wouldn't like those. But they were really interesting and really cool. And I've made stuff with the wavy yarn, so this is really cool. The homespun is kind of like this. The label's coming off. But it's kind of wavy yarn. So if you can see that, I need a third hand to put it behind it to block my face. But see, it's kind of this wavy yarn, and this is the colorway Cobalt, because it's a nice vibrant blue color. So it's called Cobalt, and so there's a couple skeins of this, but they don't have labels. And so there's this one that it's the same kind of brand. This one's it's not really green. It's kind of like. This reminds me of like peacock feather green, because it has a little bit of brown in it too, and like almost like a coppery brown with the green. It kind of reminds me of like peacock feathers. And so there's this green, and then this one is kind of like a purple. It's a little bit of a darker purple, not like a vibrant purple, but so there's this purple in that homespun. And I think that's all the homespun. It feels like these bags were from the same person, obviously, because there's a cake in this bag that matches two in this bag, and then there's a cake of this cotton yarn that I have some on my wall that is also in this bag too. But these are the only three of the homespun. So there's those, and then the cake. And so this is the cake. There's two of these in this bag. So it looks like this. If you recognize this yarn, because it doesn't have the label on it, if you recognize this yarn, just tell me in the comments what this is. But there's another one in here too, in that other bag. And then that cotton, or I didn't even describe it. It's like browns and burgundies and some tans and a little bit of a blue in it too. Really nice cake, kind of fuzzy too. So not really hairy, it's kind of fuzzy. And so there's two of these in this bag. And then that one that I have on my wall already. See, I could reach up and see it. So it's kind of peach and ivory and gray skein. I know that I gotten this at Michael's. I don't know if it's Michael's brand or it's literally right there, but I'm too damn lazy to get up. But it was a skein that was on clearance. I know that it has cotton and acrylic in it, and that's the reason why I got it, because it was before I realized that there's different kinds of cotton, and because the only cotton that I was really thinking of was like those little tiny skeins, like the Crafty Secret cotton, and I don't really like the roughness of it, and how it's a little bit splitty for me. But I was shocked that this had cotton in it, because it is so nice, but it does have acrylic mixed in it. But it's one of these, and then there's another one in this bag too. None of these have the labels on them, so must have just like taken them off or something. They maybe I'm just like assuming. I always have to come up with a story for everything that I buy. So it's like, oh well, it doesn't have a label, so it can't have fallen off. So what probably happened was the person couldn't find the center pull, so they like pulled the label off so that they can do the outside pull, and then the label wouldn't fit on it anymore. So they just like threw it in away. They just threw it in away. God, so they just threw it away, or like put it in a drawer somewhere or something like that. But so there's one of these, and then there's another one in this bag. And then there's this one. I don't know if this is the I Love This Yarn brand, the camouflage color or not. I don't think so. But it's definitely a camouflage colorway. It has brown and green, and a little bit of a black color in it, and some ivory. And so it's like a camouflage skein. I know it's not the Red Heart camouflage. I feel like I just got some of I Love This Yarn camouflage in my last haul, I think. I don't know if I have any on my wall or not, but oh God, it doesn't matter. How long is this video going to be? Like, as if I need to go find it and say, oh nope, see, they're the same, whatever. So it's like camouflage colors, whatever brand that was, but it does kind of feel like Hobby Lobby yarn, nice and soft and all that, but I don't know. And then there's this green skein. This is gorgeous. See, that's another thing about I say this every single time I get a nice haul from Goodwill, is I hate that I get skeins like this that don't have a label, and they're so generic that I'm trying to find this exact thing like on eBay or something somewhere. It would be impossible. Just what do you search for? Pretty green skein yarn, like it could be any brand, but this feels like really a substantial, like it feels like a really thick medium 4, and the green color in this is gorgeous. It's coming off a little more like a yellowy green in the camera, but it's like a really vibrant kind of deep green in person, and nice and soft, but like I don't know what brand it is. So that's what really sucks about getting a yarn like this that doesn't have labels. You're never gonna know. I'm never gonna know what what brand this is. But it's a really nice solid color. And then this is a bamboo. I'll put this with that because there's a lot of bamboo yarn in that. So I'll talk about that when I get to that. This one is Bernat Soft Boucle. So it kind of reminds me of that boucle yarn that I want to make my chair back with. But it's made by Bernat. The colorway is called Blue Shades. It has a lot of dark blues, kind of navy blues, and it is really nice. But if it doesn't feel like any's gone from this, but it's a kind of blue clay yarn. So it's kind of like that, kind of a textured yarn, and kind of a loopy textured sort of yarn. Like it's probably blue clay. I'm trying to describe blue clay, like loopy textured, like indeed. So this is the blue shade, and then this feels like the same kind of yarn, except it's gray, like a gray mix, like with a little bit of black in it. So it's like black and gray mix, and so there's one of those. I mean, it feels like the same kind of. I don't know if it's the same brand, but it feels like blue clay yarn. So whatever brand that is, but so those would go really well together. These two right here, and then there's this is one of those donut balls, the soft and sleek DK. I recognize it right away because I've described it in videos before. How you look at it and there's just like so many shades of the color in it. But this is the green shade. You would think I would have memorized the colorway of this already, but because I've gotten a couple of these in previous hauls, but that's definitely what this is, and so it's from a Yarn Bee. So I'm sure it's not the whole donut ball, but it's that really thin yarn, that DK yarn, but it's really nice. But just the look of this yarn is so nice. And then there's a skein of Bernat Boa, kind of that what was it, eyelash yarn. That's what it looks like. I don't know why it's called boa. Maybe this is the kind that you would it would match the 40s flapper hat or whatever it was. Or what was it, the Roaring 20s or 40s flapper hat, whatever. I'm trying to think about like what decade that the hat that this reminds me of is in, and then like trying to say that this would be the perfect kind of yarn to make a boa to go with your flapper hat from the 40s or 20s or gay 90s or whenever the hell it was. So it doesn't even, the colors don't even match. But in my brain, that's what I was thinking of. Not just like, oh, look at this nice hat, and look at this nice hat. I'm trying to, that's my body trying to say, see, the reason why I don't know that is because I'm not really old, like, some 40-year-old like I am. Instead of saying, like, there's this hat and there's this really nice eyelash yarn, I'm trying to say, like, oh, these would go well together, like the 40s flapper or girls or 90s, gay 90s, they would kind of go together, because the person that would wear this, like Lucy did, would need like a boa around her neck, whatever. But it's called boa, so it's just like an eyelash yarn. Feels like some of this is gone, but the color is Bluebird, because it is a blue color. So there's that, and then this one, oh, this is that, what is it? It's from Loops and Threads Carousel Twist. I think this is called Biscuit. Speaking of that, I think this colorway is called Biscuit, because remember they had one that was called Biscuit too. But it's that Carousel Twist, and so I don't know if this exists anymore because they clearanced them all out in my store recently. So I don't know, but it's the one that has a little bit of brown and orange mixed in it, and the base of it is kind of an ivory color. So that's that Carousel Twist. And then this skein, it doesn't have a label on it. It's just like this pretty pink skein. And then there's a lot of this. Is it the same color as this? No, this feels like cotton. This feels like acrylic. So there's some of this burgundy yarn, and it's a little messed up. But there's this ball, and then there's this, which is the same, and then this, which is another bunch of yarn. I'm gonna have to take the time to untangle this. That is the most frustrating thing. Like, I hate editing my videos or whatever, and that's a frustrating thing. And then having to, like, I know there are people that really enjoy doing that in some kind of relaxing way, like unraveling a knotted mess of yarn or whatever. I can't stand it. It's frustrating as hell. It's because I'm impatient. So being impatient, there have been times where I've gotten yarn like this, and I think I'll take like 20 minutes and like, okay, I'm finally getting to it, and then it'll just like knot up or whatever, and cut it out. I've done that before, just getting frustrated. So I'll try to unravel this. It doesn't look too knotted up and everything, but it's a really nice burgundy color. All this yarn, it does feel like it's the same yarn. This is that cotton. I felt it right away. I don't know if this is a Crafted Secret cotton or that Lily Sugar and Cream or whatever the hell it's called, Peaches and Cream, or are those the same thing? Or it doesn't matter. Are they? Are you going to respond? Why am I always doing that? I'm always like, is it the same thing? Like, I'm waiting for a response to the camera. So this is that same kind of burgundy color. But whatever yarn this is, I don't know if it's Crafted Secret Cotton or the Sugar and Cream or whatever it's called. But it is that kind of sort of stiff cotton. I'm just like wrapping it up. I missed a 20-minute mark, so I just thought it's getting close to the 20-minute mark. So instead of like reaching up, I'm just gonna sit here and roll it up. So I did roll that up. So, but it's whatever. kind of cotton yarn. So that's the first bag. So that one was $15. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like $1 a piece, plus the extra balls and stuff, and the free hats with it too. God, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these damn hats or whatever. But my mom and I had a lot of fun, like, you know, making jokes about these hats or whatever. And I was going da 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 da, and I had on my head like an idiot. But whatever. So because we do love Little House on the Prairie. But that's the first bag. Oh, and so this skein was in there too. The Yarn Bee Bambootiful, and the color linen is that bamboo yarn. And so I was about to do the price. Regular $5.49, got it for however. So there was one of those in there, and then there's a bunch in the bottom of this bag. That one it was $10. Which I'll get to in a minute. This one on top, this bundle right here, this is that Breathe Deep, like, almost missed my table. This one right here, God, it's such a mess. This is that Yarn Bee Breathe Deep Super Bulky yarn in that blue color. I think it's stone blue, or maybe that's just how I described it. But it is like a stone blue, and I have a skein right there. I could reach it. God, watch me pull my arm out of the socket and won't be able to crochet for a month. The color is stone blue. Got all that, like, stretched my arm out like an idiot just to look at. Yep, it's stone blue. But that's what that is. And so there's that one. And then this little bundle is kind of like an ivory color. It's one of those tweed yarns, tweed looking yarns. Has different shades of brown in it, like the little speckled or the flecks or whatever. So there's a little bundle of that, whatever brand that is. These are cotton. It feels like that in Crafty Secret, or the all of these feel bigger. This must be like Lily Sugar and Cream or Peaches and Cream or whatever. Because the ones the Crafty Secret cottons are smaller than this. So it's like a green color. And see, like, even the way it's kind of wound up here at the top is different than this Crafty Secret cotton. But it's a green color, kind of like a sage green. And then this is like a stone blue of that. And this one is a variegated, or like a striped kind of yarn. Different shades of tan and a little bit of ivory in it. So there's one of those and then another one. And so there's that. And then, this is a really nice cotton right here. Yarn Bee Sugarbill cotton in the color Paris Mornings. It has peach and some different shades of gray and ivory. This is really soft. I've gotten some of these before. And so that's a really nice cotton skein. It feels like it's brand new too. So there's that one. And then a Yarn Bee, oh God. I knew that there was another one in here. God. God, this must be Carrie's. There's we have one for Mary and one for Laura and one for Carrie. So there's that. Is there one in here for Ma too? I don't know. But there's another one of these bucket whatever kind of hats. I don't know. And it's in this green color. It's probably the nice green that I wish that I knew the colorway of. But I would never pull this out. No matter how I'm never going to use this. I'd look like an idiot walking around in this. And my mom's probably not going to use this either. And I don't even know if I could sell this or whatever. Who would buy this? But I still don't want to pull it out because I feel like it is done. Somebody, they need to weave in the end. They forgot to weave in the end. But it is done. I just can't bring myself to bring out, or I just can't bring myself to pull out somebody else's work. I know a lot of people do that and stuff, and it's a way to kind of repurpose things. And if you buy it, then you have, then it's yours, and you can do whatever you want to with it and all that stuff. I'm not like judging you, but like, because I know a lot of people go to thrift stores and they actually buy blankets with the intention, or even sweaters, with the intention of like pulling it out and reusing the yarn and stuff, and that's fine. But I just can't do that as a creative person and somebody that, you know, appreciates every kind of creative thing that anybody ever does. I could never do that. Even though I think this looks ridiculous, I don't know what the hell to do with it. I just can't bring myself to pull this out, no matter how pretty the yarn is. So I don't know, but I'm gonna do something with it. So there's that, and then a skein of, I love this yarn, Common Damage, and the color is red, so a nice red skein. This feels like that kind of floppy version of the yarn, so there's one of those. I have this intention of, like, you know, saying the price, because I'm so used to doing that, but there's a red skein. And then I love this yarn in the color Clover, another one of those that feels like that, like it's extra soft and shiny and stuff, but it does feel a little bit thinner than the kind of skeins you get now. It's kind of like a darker sage green, almost like an olive green, but it's not as brown as the olive greens are. That's called clover, and I think this is the same thing. See, this feels like the kind of yarn that they have now. I mean, they have some of these every once in a while, but like for the most part, they're kind of like this. So this is clover too. So see, like look at the difference in these. Like you can really tell in these two. See how much more, like even though the specs are exactly the same, I bet they're exactly the same. See, 7 ounces, 199 grams, 355 yards, 325 meters. See, they're exactly the same specs, but yet, like, bullshit. Like, they're not the same. Like, look how much more substantial and significant this yarn is. Yes, it's a little bit more dull. This is extra shiny and stuff, but see, that this is like really thin. And so, it would just be difficult to like mix these together without it being obvious that they're different, not just different dye lots, but different like textures and stuff like that, because this is just, they're so different. But I mean, they're both really nice, but they're just, you can't really pair them together because they're just, the texture is so like you can really tell this way too, hopefully. And I know I have a crappy camera still, but you know what I'm saying, like you can tell even looking at the yarn, it looks different, but it's the same colorway. But I got 2 of those, and then another tweed. This feels like that yarn from the one time I didn't miss the table, I just like banged my elbow like that. But it feels like that yarn from, or there's a lot of yarns that are like this. It feels like that yarn from Michaels, the tweed yarn that is kind of like an olive green with like the little flecks in it. Like this one. No, that's that. Hobby Lobby. Why do I keep doing that? For God's sake, you don't care. You probably can't even see. I can't even see because of all the stuff on the screen. I can't even see if like what I'm pointing at you can even see. But it feels like that yarn from Michaels, but I'm not really sure. But it's like an olive green and kind of a tweedish yarn. And now here's that other cake of that yarn. The kind of fuzzy one. It's really pretty, the colors in this. I'm glad that I have 3 of these, because this would make something like a nice wearable for fall that I really wish it was right now because it's so hot in here. But the colors in this really do feel like fall colors. Just the browns and different shades of that in there. So another one of those cakes. And then there's that other one of those, you know, the peach with the gray in it. In fact, let me just get my lazy ass up, and I can walk through. That's probably why I'm so damn lazy, because I'm walking through the stores all the time looking for clearance yarn. No, I walk through the stores every single day looking for clearance yarn. But I'm sitting here, and all I have to do is walk like 3 feet and check the discount. Oh no, I'm too lazy to just get my big ass up and look at it, for God's sake. Yeah, it's a Karen cotton cake. That's what it is. And the colorway is called frozen yogurt. Like, I would never think that was frozen yogurt, really? Whatever. Okay, so what kind of frozen yogurt is peach with gray and ivory in it? But whatever. So that's what that is. And so I have another one of those. And then this is a ball of like fur yarn. I don't know what brand this is. Really nice fur yarn. It's kind of like a brownish or like a tannish color of this fur yarn. It's probably the yarn that was on what did it say? Laura's hat. So it's probably the fur that's on the edge of Laura's hat. So there's that. And then all the rest of these are the Bambootiful. So I had that one in that other bag, which I'm pointing right here, and it's already on the floor. So the one back here, the one called linen. So there's 1, 2. This feels like linen too, but some of it's missing. It's missing. Where'd it go? No, some of it is gone. Oh, God, I'm such a mess. It's missing. It's somewhere around here somewhere. So there's a little bit. It threw me because I'm such an idiot. So there's a little bit of that linen there, and so there's like 1 in that bag, and then whatever the scrap of this left. I guess that's what that is. It does feel the same. And then there's 1, 2, 3 more skeins of the linen, and so there's that one, and then 2 of these that are called white. they're called white. Yeah, because they're white, idiot. So there's 2 skeins of the white in the Bambootiful, and I've never used this yarn before, but I need to. I've gotten some in previous hauls, like a whole bunch of different colorways and stuff, but I've never used it before. It's so soft. It's probably a 3-weight though. Oh, that's weird. It says a light 5. I've never seen like a light 5 before. Maybe that's. Did they used to have like different numbers for lighter yarns or something? Because like a 5. There's no way. There's no way this is even a 4. This feels like a 3-weight. In fact, I feel like the other ones that I have say a 3. Okay, see, maybe these were mistakes. I hope whoever got these got them on clearance, because there's an error on this label. Hopefully they got a discount on it. So because this says a light 3, but then some of these say a light 5, so that's weird. So it's a total mistake. I hope you can see that. It took me like 20 seconds just to try to get the camera to focus in on it. But it says a light 5, so that's weird to see. So and this one does too. So I don't know, maybe the light skeins used to have different numbers and stuff, and then they made them a 3 to make them more consistent, or maybe these were mistakes. I have no idea. But so those are all the rest of the Bamboodiful yarns in the bag. So a really good deal, $25 for all this yarn. I just couldn't believe that. And so, like I said, of course I didn't need all this yarn, but who the hell would see all this and not get it? And sure, there's a couple cottons in here that I'm gonna have to, you know, force myself to use or whatever. And a lot of these don't have labels and a lot of stuff, but they're all really nice yarns, and some of them are brand new. And so yeah, I got a couple ridiculous hats or whatever out of it. I don't know what the hell to do with, but a really good deal on all this yarn, $25. Then the only other yarn is the yarn that I got at Michael's. And so I went into Michael's, and they had that, like I've said, they have the one aisle and then that little half aisle. And like even the aisles are shorter than the ones in Hobby Lobby. So they're kind of like these small aisles. And so that's the only yarn they have. And then they finally put in that freestanding shelf, and they put the big twist on it. And so they had like the solids, and then they had some of the, because they used to, when they first got in Big Twist, they had all the big twist in those big cardboard things. Like those things you had to like reach down into and dig through. And so when they finally put in a freestanding shelf, I was thinking, oh good, maybe they're gonna have all kinds of room for the yarn. And so they got in like all the solids, and then they had some of this twinkle, so the Big Twist twinkle. And I love metallic yarns; it's my favorite. And so I love the metallic yarns. And so I'd gotten some in previous hauls and stuff, but then when I saw these, they were in one of those cardboard things with clearance stickers on them. And at first I was thinking, like, you know, me and clearance stickers, yeah, they're clearance stickers are a different color. This is a pink color. I love the orange, so it's a different color, but like it's still a clearance sticker. So when I saw these and they were the metallic yarns and they were on clearance, I was thinking, oh crap, because I love these metallic yarns. I was like grabbing them, and then I thought, like, wait a minute, why are these being clearanced out? Yeah, see, this is the part where I look ridiculous. I get a skein that's normally $6.49 for $3, which is, you know, incredible for Michael's. And it's not as cheap as Hobby Lobby's clearance prices, but like that's a good clearance price in Michael's. And so I was like getting this really good deal on metallic yarns, like, you know, some of my favorite kind of yarns. But then I was thinking, it was like a negative thing, because I was thinking, why are they getting rid of this? Like, they have very limited space or whatever, but they finally get in some really nice yarns or whatever, and then they're getting rid of this. It's not like they're getting rid of this yarn completely. It's still available on Michael's website. They're not going to get rid of this yarn. So why is my Michael's continuing to do this? They get a new yarn in, and then it stays in there, and then it's like they get a couple skeins, and then I'll probably buy them, like those impressions or whatever. They got like that one colorway, this colorway in the saltwater taffy. They got those like 3 skeins in or whatever, and I ended up buying all 3 of them. I actually showed restraint and bought them like one at a time, but I eventually bought all 3 of them, and I made the chair back. It's not really finished because it's not, you know, completely around the chair. But I bought all 3 of those, and they never got any more in. And so they can't say that, like, oh, it just didn't sell. The hell it did, and I bought all 3 of them. But they only got the 3 skeins in. So why are they doing this? I know that they have like limited space in there, but are they just like using it like, oh, look at these new yarns that we have. You can buy these, but if you want any more, you have to buy them on the website. Like, is that what their mentality is? Like, that there's only a limited amount of space in the Michael's store that we have, and so they're just like putting a couple in there just to give people a taste of their selection, so they can, like, you know, buy it and think, oh, well, I want some more, and then they have to keep going in looking for it, and then they never get any more in, and then they have to end up buying it on their website. Like, why the hell are they not like getting more of the yarns in? And why they just got this in like maybe a month or 2 ago or whatever. They finally got the Big Twist in, and then they got the metallic in, and then now they're clearancing it out. Like, what the hell? Yeah, okay. The silver lining is I saw where this was, and I saw the little stickers there. It's all empty, but they have put the stickers there for what's going to be there, and it's going to be some of the variegated Big Twist. Okay, that's a really great thing. Yeah, so there's a lot of positive about this. Yeah, I got some metallic yarns from Michael's on clearance or whatever, so that's you know, good. I'm like, check. Like, what was it? Now, see, now I'm like thinking about Friends. You know, check. You know, the episode where they go to London, they talk about, you know, Monica and Ross and the whole like check thing, whatever. God. So I got some metallic yarn on clearance. Good. And they're going to be getting in some variegated big twist. Good. But like at the same time, it's at the expense of getting rid of this yarn, which should stay in the store. Why is this? Why are they getting rid of this? Why, when they got that, it was one of the other impressions, like the blue. Why did they get that one skein in and then immediately clearance it out? Why? I just feel like I'm giving a lot of hope to that store that it doesn't deserve. That I'm putting a lot of, because I never really wanted to shop in Hobby Lobby or whatever, but I started to shop there, and then when I discovered the whole clearance yarn thing, I thought, like, you know, principles be damned, I'm going to go in there and get some clearance yarn. And so I'd go in there all the time or whatever, and then I have the whole, like, I love this yarn, calm and damn it thing, just to make myself feel better about it and make a funny joke on a video. And then, but I was getting the yarn or whatever, but I still had, like, I was holding on to this hope that my Michaels store would be, because my Hobby Lobby was there first. And then my Michaels was coming, and my mom was really excited about Michaels because where she used to live, they had a really nice, like a full size, like a regular Michaels. And so when we heard that Michaels was coming, she was so excited for me because she said, oh, I can't wait for you to go into Michaels because they have everything and they have all kinds of yarn and all kinds of things. Because, like, you know, her Michaels is a regular size Michaels. And so, like I said, my Michaels it was a former Dick's building, and then they split it in half. So my Michaels, I jokingly said, is sort of like a micro version of Michaels because it's sort of like this little half store. And so my Michaels doesn't have a big selection of yarn like it probably should. And so, but I always had this hope that, like, my Michaels would be like a good competitor with Hobby Lobby, and I would have like two different places. I would still go into Hobby Lobby to get the clearance yarn and stuff, but I would feel like I have another place to get yarn if I don't want to go into Hobby Lobby. But then when it came, it felt like it was like this small version of Michaels, and it just doesn't have a big selection. And then they finally get some new yarns in. They finally get this in, this saltwater taffy. I love this colorway. I saw it on a video on YouTube once, and then I finally saw it in the store. I thought, oh God, they're starting to get those impressions in. And so I got it, and I was really excited about it, and I wanted to make this chair back and stuff. And so I eventually got all 3 skeins, even though they were they were like $8 a piece or whatever for those skeins. But I got them anyway because they're really nice, and it's bulky weight yarn, and it's just really nice. And so I was really excited about it, and you know, got pretty far on it. And then I just kept going in thinking, like, are they going to get any more in? And then we get like a shipment in, but like still no impressions, and they've never gotten any more in. It's been months. And so they get a couple of skeins of something in. Oh, and there was one time, I think I took a video of it. I can't remember if I talked about it in a video, but I'm on that freestanding shelf. There was like the big twist on top, and then on the bottom shelf, they put like a bunch of like random skeins that like these new yarns, new to my store probably. They had I know they had one of the Karen cakes, like the skinny cakes, that was down there. I'm pretty sure I took a video, but they had like a couple like kind of new skeins down there. And what's weird is it was like this tiny little section, like a couple skeins of each, like a little sampler of like that's what it feels like. It feels like some kind of like Radio Shack situation where you go in there and it's sort of like what are those stores called, where showcase stores or whatever. It sort of is. My Michaels sort of like a showcase store. I know you can get like stuff in it, but I'm just saying, is it like a place where you can go and like get like the basic kind of yarns, you know, solids and all that kind of stuff, but then for the most part that they put little samples in, and you can see like, oh, this is like something that you can get, but you have to special order it like on our website. I just can't understand why they get like a couple of skeins of something new in, and then, you know, once it's gone, they never get it in again. Like, why else would that be there? That's the way it sort of feels. And so they finally got this in, but now they're clearancing it out. Yeah, it's to bring in some of the variegated big twist, but still, like, why are they getting rid? Why can't they have both? Why can't they, you know, get rid of some of the solids? Why can't they clear out that back wall where there's all that clearance stuff that, you know, nobody has bought for months and months? Clear that all out and put this there. Yeah, it would be regular price, but still, why can't they have all of these yarns? Why can't they clear the damn back wall and like put some yarn back there? Why can't they put in another freestanding shelf? Like, I don't know. I know that they have limited space, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I got the Big Twist Twinkle, and this is the gray color. It's called gray. It's kind of like a silver. It has a silver metallic strand. And then this is the blue, the Big Twist Twinkle, and the color sapphire. And not as pretty as their the Big Twist, like the solid that's called sapphire. That's a really vibrant, like gorgeous blue color. But this is just like a kind of a navy blue. And see, these God, see, these are my favorite kind of metallic yarns, where the metallic strand matches the skein of yarn. See what I'm saying? Like, why are they getting rid of this? What the hell? See, the metallic strand in this is blue too, and I love that look. I mean, I love the look with like this is a bad example, but like the look of like the ones from other stores where like, you know, Hobby Lobby or whatever, where it's the solid color and then the metallic strand is a silver. Of course, it's pretty, and Walmart carries some of those too, and all that. But like, I love this look too, and if they're getting rid of this, like. And then the black. See, I love this. Like my favorite color is black, and this is black with the black metallic strand in it, and they're getting rid of this too. So, God, I mean, I just feel like an idiot saying like, oh, look, I got these you know, yarns on clearance, but it's like this disappointing thing. But it really is. I mean, I can look forward to the variegated big twist is going to be put in its place, but now it's like, well, if I want any more of this, then I guess I'm going to have to go on their website and buy it or whatever, and then I won't because I'm so damn cheap or whatever. It's bad enough that these are $6.49 a skein, but then you know, to have to pay for shipping on top of it too, unless I buy like, you know, $60 or $75 or whatever the hell it is to get free shipping. And I probably won't, but at least I got these. But you know what I'm saying. I just wish my Michael's store was better. I'm putting a lot of hope in that store that they probably don't deserve. But I was just hoping to have like another option in town. Of course, I would still shop at Hobby Lobby, but why can't my Michael's be better? Like, why can't they get in more yarns and stuff, and like get them in and keep them there? You know what I'm saying? And keep them stocked. And like, I can't tell you how many times I've gone past that little freestanding shelf with the solids on it, and like some of the solid will be gone. And it's still gone. And it's like, are they ever going to refill that too? Are they not going to get in the solids either? Like, I don't know. And then if they get the variegated in, yeah, I'm going to get some of the variegated. But what if they, you know, I get some of those variegated and then never fill those up either? Is it going to be like this cycle thing where, you know, they cycle through yarns like, oh, here's a little taste of what we have, and then but get it before it goes away? Like, is it going to be one of those kind of situations where once it's gone, then they're going to bring in something else? But well, you better get that before we're going to run out because we're going to put something else in its place. I don't know, but anyway, so I did get these 3 skeins, and then all the skeins from Goodwill and all that kind of stuff, and I did make something with the yarn. But anyway, so that's the end of this video. I'm sorry the end of this video is kind of a downer because I'm like sort of negative about the whole Michael's thing, but you know, at least I got some nice yarns and stuff. But I just want my Michael's store to be better, and hopefully one day it will be, or whatever. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.